When it comes to live-action superhero TV shows, we seem to have experienced something of a golden age in recent years. There has been an abundance of different series based around the characters and stories of Marvel, DC and beyond. From Daredevil to Doom Patrol, to the Arrowverse to Legion, to Riverdale to The Walking Dead. Television series based off comic books and graphic novels are everywhere. But this wasn't always the case. Only a decade or so ago, superhero TV shows were a rarity, with only a handful of series existing on mainstream channels, and even fewer existing within years of one another. Years before any of these aforementioned shows made it onto the screen, there was a singular trailblazer that aimed to deliver a faithful yet grounded take on one of DC Comics' most beloved and iconic superheroes, years after his days on the big screen had seemingly ended, and proved an enormous success, spanning 10 seasons, 217 episodes, and almost 10 full years. I'm talking, of course, about Smallville. However, it may surprise you to learn that Smallville wasn't always going to be a Superman TV series, and in fact, originally the producers behind the show were heavily working on creating a similar type of series about Batman, even going as far as to plan multi-season arcs that would follow Bruce Wayne from a scared orphan to the Dark Knight of Justice. If before Superman there was Smallville, then before Batman there was Bruce Wayne. And in this video, I want to discuss how this proposed Bruce Wayne TV series came to be, how it would approach bringing Batman to the world of television, and the factors that caused it to never see the light of day. By the beginning of 1999, it appeared that the prospects of a follow-up film to Batman and Robin had lost all momentum, with the studio unhappy with the film's poor reception and seeking to develop new ways to reinvigorate the Batman franchise, accepting screenplays and treatments from a number of different filmmakers, all offering unique and different ways to bring the Dark Knight back to the big screen. However, one screenwriter, Tim McCanlies, had a very different idea, submitting a 62-page pilot script for a new television show revolving around the teenage and early adult years of Bruce Wayne, to Tolin Robbins Productions, a film and production house that had a joint television venture agreement with Warner Brothers. McCanlies, who had just recently completed the screenplay for the Warner Brothers animated feature The Iron Giant, was determined to bring his vision of Batman's early years to the small screen, so much so that while he only initially pitched a pilot, he'd actually mapped out much of the series' eventual story in the form of a 5-year plan that would eventually climax with Bruce donning the much famous cape and cowl. Impressed by the pitch, the executives at Tolin Robbins bought the rights to produce the series immediately, and the tentatively titled Bruce Wayne was underway. The Bruce Wayne series was intended to span a minimum of 5 years, taking the young protagonist from mourning over the loss of his parents to developing his skills in crime fighting before eventually forging the Batman identity. Bruce would serve as the show's protagonist, returning to Gotham at age 18 after spending a number of years away, and begin to fight against corruption within both his father's company and the wider Gotham establishment with the aid of his butler Alfred. On a similar path was Jim Gordon, an up-and-coming detective in the Gotham Police Department, seemingly fighting a one-man war against Gotham's criminal underworld, with the pair striking up a friendship and alliance that would culminate in both Bruce's ascendancy to Batman and Gordon's to the role of Commissioner. Likewise, the character of Harvey Dent was also going to be a key part of the show, characterised as Bruce's childhood best friend, and a symbol of what Bruce could become, if not for his morality. While seemingly plans were never in place for Dent to become Two-Face in the show, it appears that it was going to be a subject heavily teased and hinted at. We'd also be treated to early renditions of many of Batman's popular rogues, including Catwoman, the Joker, psychologist Harleen Quinzel, Professor Jonathan Crane, the Riddler, the Penguin, and even a pitched episode featuring Bruce visiting Kansas and encountering a quote-unquote strange kid from Smallville. In terms of casting, while no names were ever formally announced, there are a number of credible rumours that seem to indicate who might have took on some of these roles. For Bruce Wayne, two names that were heavily linked were Shawn Ashmore, who would later play Iceman in Fox's X-Men series, and Clerks 2 star Trevor Furman. A then unknown Michael Rosenbaum was supposedly the frontrunner to play Harvey Dent, while David Krumholtz, later star of the TV show Numbers, was in consideration for Detective Jim Gordon. Clearly, a lot of thought and planning was going into this Bruce Wayne series, and those involved in making it were genuinely passionate about bringing it to life and doing justice to the Dark Knight on the small screen. However, the question remained over whether audiences would respond well with the show also. Sometime in 2000, IGN actually obtained a copy of the script to the show's pilot, posting a review of it on their site. In it, they actually praise a number of elements that the pilot was setting up, noting how despite some fine-tuning on the plot and pacing being required, it seemed like a good launching pad for a TV series, and describing it as an entertaining take on the Batman legend while only subtly suggesting the Dark Knight. Interestingly though, the IGN review had a detailed section on the show's characterization of Bruce Wayne, questioning the tonal approach for the series' titular character. It states that,
"Yes, Bruce is supposed to be a teen here and not the hard-bitten old crime fighter he's destined to become. It's just that I saw no clear indication in this story that he would become such a dark figure. True, this was just the pilot, so Bruce should, like Anakin Skywalker, grow more somber and imposing as the series progresses. But by beginning the TV series like this, Bruce's gloomy transformation must eventually be explained. The series must show what future tragedies or hardships befall Bruce that make him lose his sense of humor and his innocence, and that ultimately make him so obsessed with vengeance that his only recourse is to don a bizarre disguise and fight a one-man war on crime. Also, by focusing solely on Bruce Wayne and not Batman, doesn't this series then conflict with the widely held belief amongst comic fans that Bruce Wayne is the disguise and Batman is his true identity?"
However, even with this in mind, the general reception to the notion of a Bruce Wayne television show was overwhelmingly positive. Even with the memory of Batman and Robin still in the minds of many, audiences were keen to see more of Batman, especially one so drastically moving away from the camp and instead exploring the character's origin and psychology. Everything seemed like it was destined to work. The show should have been somewhat of a hit. So what happened? From the moment that McCanley's pitch was purchased by Toll and Robbins Productions, the mood behind the scenes was one of nervous anticipation. There was always an uncertainty over whether the show would be made, but an assurance that if it did, it'd prove to be successful. While the TV executives were seemingly fully behind the writer's long-term vision, Warner Bros. Continuously placed roadblocks and setbacks on the show's production, as they didn't want it to interfere with their planned cinematic endeavours for the character. At the time, the studio was in talks with Darren Aronofsky over a Batman Year One film, and also a Batman-Superman crossover film pitched by Andrew Kevin Walker. Understandably, the continued delays and seeming lack of enthusiasm on behalf of Warner Bros. Saw the show's momentum noticeably halt, even as their TV department battled for it to be fast-tracked to coincide with their other tentpole release at the time, in the form of the Buffy spin-off, Angel. In the end, the final nail in the Bruce Wayne coffin came from a somewhat unlikely source, as 20th Century Fox's X-Men film hit theatres in July of 2000, and proved to be an enormous success, grossing over $54 million in its opening weekend, then the 6th highest opening of all time, and hitting a total worldwide gross of $296 million, and sparking a superhero movie renaissance with its success. With X-Men restoring studios' hopes of making profitable big-budget superhero films again, the suggestion of bringing Batman down to television seemed somewhat comical, and ultimately the show was scrapped as Warner Bros. Instead ramped up on Batman's return to the big screen. However, while the Bruce Wayne TV series never came to fruition, I think its influences and ideas can be found throughout a number of different projects that were made over subsequent years. Namely, after the show fell apart, Tollin Robbins Productions repurposed its concept into a Superman TV show, pitching Smallville to Warner Bros. TV president Peter Roth in 2000. Producers Alfred Goh and Miles Miller came on board that same year, and the show was picked up by the WB, premiering on October 16, 2001. But even with that said, Tollin Robbins were determined to get a Batman TV show off the ground also. The positive reactions to Smallville's initial pitch saw its producers Goh and Miller pitch yet again a Bruce Wayne focused series, but it was again rejected by Warner Bros. As a result, the studio instead greenlit a series based on the Batman adjacent team Birds of Prey, that premiered on October 9th, 2001, to mixed results, ending after only 13 episodes. Batman did eventually return to the big screen in 2005, with Nolan's Batman Begins serving as the starting point for a now iconic trilogy of films that would redefine both the character and the comic book movie genre, and with its success, saw the possibility of a Bruce Wayne focused TV series seem to diminish more and more each year. However, in 2013, the Mentalist producer Bruno Heller approached Warner Bros. About producing a crime drama based around the Gotham City Police Department, centred around a young Commissioner Gordon investigating the murder of Thomas and Martha Wayne. Gotham, as it came to be known, was picked up by Fox in September 2013 and ran for 5 seasons, concluding recently in April 2019. In a sense, Gotham represents the closest thing to the Bruce Wayne television series, albeit in a much more stylised and colourful manner, giving us that orphan to hero journey of a young Bruce Wayne, and hopefully satisfying those out there who longed for such a story to hit the small screen. But even still, I do like to stop and think about what things would have been like if Bruce Wayne had taken the place of Smallville and was brought to TV in the early 2000s, and the impact that it would have had on both the future of Batman in film and the future of superheroes on television as a whole. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to leave a like on the video and leave a comment down below as well. Let me know your thoughts on the failed Bruce Wayne TV series from the early 2000s. Would you like to have seen it? Do you think it would have been any good? And what do you think it making to television would have meant for the future of superhero TV shows? Let me know down below. I can't wait to hear what you have to say as always. I want to give a big special thanks to Alex from High Top Films for helping me out on this video and providing his voice. He is amazing, and if you haven't checked him out, there'll be a link to his channel in the description, so go and have a look. He makes some great stuff. If you want some more of me, you can follow me on Twitter just at Owen Likes Comics, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos we make every week or every 2 weeks. There should be some other videos on screen right now that you may enjoy if you did indeed enjoy this one. And that's all for me. I will see you next time. So until then, take care and keep reading.